Welcome to the Igniting the CEO Within podcast, where we interview successful high-level professionals to discover lessons they've learned throughout their career that can help ignite that CEO within you. I'm Mark McFatridge, and I'll be your host for the next 15 minutes or so. Our show is sponsored by Quaid, a nationwide community of CEOs and entrepreneurs. Quaid has developed Launchpad, which offers an opportunity for experienced executive coaches and strategic advisors to become licensed circle directors. After completing the Launchpad program, you'll lead your own peer advisory circles, helping other CEOs and entrepreneurs excel in their professional and personal lives while providing a community of support, accountability, and challenge. If you'd like to learn more, go to quaidcircle.com. On our show today, we have Dr. Laura Aziz, Executive Leadership Coach at Mava Solutions in Chicago, Illinois. Dr. Aziz, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining me.
Nice to meet you, Mark. Great to be here.
Yes, this will be fun. Dr. Aziz, in your work, you get to see all kinds of leaders, and some of those leaders are really, really good and really talented and get the best out of their people and their companies. And some others maybe have some opportunity to get a little bit better. If you had to dial it down to one or two traits that separate the really good leaders from the average or even not so average leaders, what would that be?
Wow, that's a difficult question. I work with great leaders all the time. I believe everybody has in them the traits and chemistry, and inside us we have the superpower. And to the extent we can identify the superpower and use it in the right context, and know when to spotlight it, I think makes us even better in our leadership. Two things that come to mind, since I do really have more than two, but but to be specific and focused from a business perspective, the more clarity on the goal, like focus, laser sharp focus on what needs to be accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
And not just, at a very high level, but in everything. Like if we're meeting, we have a 30 minutes meeting, 1 hour meeting. What is the goal? Because many times we get caught into discussions and we lose the focus on what makes us productive, what makes us helpful to our teams, or whoever we are meeting with. So from a business perspective, I think clarity and focus is instrumental in making a leader shine. On the human level, I think having empathy and caring about the people we interact with versus being egocentric and focusing about me, how I am looking, how am I dealing with it, how will this, what kind of light will it reflect on me. I think trying to remove the me here and the I from the center and look at it from how am I helping others, how is my team doing, who needs more time or more help from me. We cannot ignore the people side, and it's more visible, more accentuated today because of what's happening in the market, and the dawn of the AI, agentic AI, and kind of
Right.
are afraid. So I think shifting the discussion to focus on people can change the dynamics and make the leader not just a leader, but a mentor, a guiding force in people's lives.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful. Thank you. I think what's interesting is those two don't always align, right? There's a fine line between being so clear that this is what we're doing, this is how we're going to do it, this is how we're going to operate, but then also making sure that you have that human side in it, right? There's a balance between those things because we all have to accomplish some things, right? We have to get some stuff done. But at the same time, there's got to be that human element that you talk about. So walking that fine line is really interesting. How do you coach people to do that, to almost have a foot in both sides of that?
Absolutely. And I personally experienced that myself. Like I led mega projects, very complex, very demanding environments. And I would always used to focus, like laser sharp focus on the job that need to be done.
Mm-hmm.
and would not allow, time to sleep, or, and I would go hunt people, down and get them to. And then I discovered that I finished the project and I did a great job, but I lost the people. I did not make good friends. I did not necessarily feel like I could go back and create friendship with the people I was working with. And I discovered that this was a gap in what I was doing, and I had to make that critical shift, from just focusing on the task and getting things done to what people need, and building bridges and relationships. And there are two elements. I think there could be more, but at least in my practice, there are two elements that are fundamental. One is being more self-aware. So nobody will come and tell you, oh, you're doing really not a great job because you're getting the job done. They are happy that you're getting the job done, but you need to be self-aware that you're getting the job done, but you're losing people. And how to strike a balance, how to still get the job done, but also encourage people and be more empathetic and listen to them, or give them time to speak and voice their opinion. Creating like the emotional intelligence, I would say, umbrella of practices, which includes empathy, compassion, building relationships. And it all starts with self-awareness and self-management, because when we're under pressure and stress, we sometimes are snappy, we kind of lash out at people. And the self-management is knowing how we show up, and the executive presence, to stay calm under pressure, is these are fundamental, for success.
Yeah, I agree with you. That that's easier said than done, right? To have that composure, because like you said, we have this drive within us. Successful people have this drive within us that we're going to get the job done no matter what, and we're going to get it done on time and under budget and all these things. At the same time, as you learned, that emotional intelligence becomes so important. Do you think is emotional intelligence, can it be learned or and taught?
So that's the point I wanted to make in terms of how to increase self-awareness. Because when you increase your self-awareness, you can leverage emotional intelligence. And there is no way on in the science, in the world, I would say, to increase emotional intelligence and self-awareness with leaders, especially, and executives, except by the disciplined time alone, disciplined journaling, disciplined self-inquiry, like asking yourself every day, did I do my best to talk with people, not just did my work, but did I do my best to reach out to someone today? And there is nothing that will replace that, because people will not come and tell you directly, oh, you were really snappy in this meeting, or you kind of you were not nice when you said XYZ, you
Right.
offended me, or I felt. So you have to develop this self-regulation and self-awareness. They are kind of two sides of the coin. And having some time with yourself, like I like to take time in the morning of centering, grounding, setting intention, like in
Hmm.
coaching, there is something relatively new, I would say, but I'm starting to weaving it into my coaching practice, which they are calling identity coaching,
Hmm.
which is who I want to be, like answering that question. Who do I want to be in this meeting today? Or who do I want to be when I show up at the office and people are, say, worried, or, triggered for whatever reason? So
Yeah.
knowing who I want to be, describing yourself in the right terms, in the right words. I want to be calm. I want to be wise. I want to show up as a caring person. That helps in the buffering, instead of like just acting and jumping, to be more calm and aware of what's happening around you, situational awareness.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that almost goes back to the clarity piece that you led off
Mhm.
with, right? That
Yeah.
you have to have the clarity in who you want to be, how you need to be in a specific
Mhm.
situation, and outline that and start to follow it down. So they do walk hand in hand for you to continue to move forward.
Yeah, and there are some practical tips that we can implement. Like one of the things I started implementing in my projects was to at least take one person to lunch or dinner every day. You know, I used to travel as a consultant, so I was on the road and always going
Mhm.
out to lunch or dinner. I was not going home. You know, I had
Right.
to go out and find the food that I like. You know, in whatever city I was in. And in some people eat at their desk, you know that, people like carry their
Mhm.
lunch with them. They eat at their desk because they want to work through lunch. But I decided that I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stop and ask someone. Maybe I planned it in advance, who wants to join me for a short lunch. It doesn't need to be a long time. It can
Sure.
be 30, 45 minutes, but it's a chance to connect with someone and not just talk about work, but get to know them as human beings, and their families, their kids, their pets, whatever they want to
Yeah.
talk about.
Yeah, that intentionality is really important as you move forward there. When when you one of the things that you had mentioned, and you've said it a couple times, is people that report to you are not going to come to you and say, "Hey, you were a little bit snappy in that meeting today. You were off today. You were not who we need you to be."
Mhm.
So, if it's not going to be people that are working with you daily, who is going to help you as a leader identify those opportunities that you have to become better?
So, when we talk about relationships, like one of the elements in building your profile and connecting with people,
Mhm.
there will be people that are closer to you. Like we have this diagram of the circle of control. Like you have yourself, the immediate circle, the intermediate, and then the outer circle.
Uh-huh.
And knowing who is in your inner circle and developing this trust, I would say, that comes with deeper connection, and it's reciprocal. So you
Mhm.
give them and they give you that honest feedback. And sometimes it's going to be a lifelong relationship. You will want to stay connected because you have fostered that level of transparency in accepting what they tell you, and
Mhm.
they are also open to accept. So I think that can make a big difference. It's hard to get there, especially if you're on the move all the time, like if you're
Mhm.
consulting, or if you're rising through the ranks and you're interacting with people from different departments. Like in many organizations, they encourage leaders to build relationships horizontally across departments.
Mhm.
It helps in creating a positive work environment, but sometimes it's not helpful in having a deep relationship. Somebody that you really can be honest with. So to the extent we can try to find that, I'm
Mhm.
not going to claim it's easy. That helps. But in the absence of it, it's kind of looking at yourself in the mirror. Like you will
Mhm.
know. I know that whenever I left the meeting and I felt like I wasn't at my best. I focused on something that triggered, more anxiety than getting people to think together on solving a problem.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's really good. I think, one of the things that we like to talk about at Quaid is finding like situated peers.
Mm.
So, they don't like situated is important because they understand what you're going through and the
Yeah.
challenges that you have. And, specifically in the CEO seat or the business owner
Yeah.
seat, if somebody's never sat in that seat before, it's hard for them to
Yeah.
understand what you're going through, right? And what you face on a day-to-day basis. So
Right.
trying to identify people that are like situated is really
I
helpful
like
in
that.
that.
That's a new expression. But yeah, there is no school for CEOs, right? You
That's
you
right.
you learn it on the job. So to the extent you can find people that you trust, and that's why many CEOs work with executive coaches, because you get an objective opinion from
Mhm.
somebody who have worked with other coaches, and it's a chance, another chance of looking at yourself in the mirror. Like going through a problem or a problematic situation or a challenging persona on the team,
Right.
like you have a prima donna or, some drama queen or something. So it's like, okay, what are various ways to deal with that? And
Well,
developing this kind of scenario plan.
yeah, that's great. So that's a really nice segue to ask you what does an engagement with you look like as an executive coach?
Yeah, that's a good one. Good question. The best place is to start with an assessment. Like for senior leaders, the 360 assessment is eye opening. Like all the leaders that I worked with who agreed to do it got an amazing way of looking into how they are perceived by others,
Mm-hmm.
and that there is nothing that replaces it. I know there is some critique for it. It's time consuming. It looks into the past, but that's the reality. Like people will always look at your past, and
Mm-hmm.
the challenge that the person has with their coach is how to take that feedback and create a bridge to the future. Like, okay, that's how I'm coming across now. What do I need to change
Mm-hmm.
to be the person I want to be, the leader I want to be in the future?
That's great.
And
That's great.
work with
And
them.
then how do people get a hold of you if they would like to engage with you as their executive coach?
Oh, that's a nice question. LinkedIn is the best way. I check my LinkedIn every day, my LinkedIn inbox. So DMing me or reaching out through LinkedIn would be the best way.
Excellent. Dr. Aziz, thank you so much for taking some time and hanging out with me today. This has been really good and insightful. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it.
All right, y'all, we've done it one more time. We found another amazing leader to share her insights. So thankful for Dr. Aziz to spend some time with us today and share her wisdom with us. As we wrap up, I wanted to remind you that Igniting the CEO Within is sponsored by Quaid, a nationwide community of CEOs and entrepreneurs. Quaid has created Launchpad, which provides an opportunity for experienced executive coaches and strategic advisors to become licensed circle directors and significantly impact the lives of CEOs and entrepreneurs. To find out more, visit quaidcircle.com. Until next time, keep igniting that CEO within you. I'm Mark McFatridge. Thanks for listening.